Buenos días para todas y todos. Bienvenidos a este espacio de los ciclos temáticos organizados por Campus France Colombie de estudiar artes en Francia. Esta semana y el día de hoy particularmente tenemos un ciclo temático enfocado en la animación, los videojuegos y el diseño en todo lo que esto implica a estas áreas. Y hoy tenemos el gusto de estar acompañados por la señorita Daria Bondarenko, que es la representante de la escuela Rubika, y nos va a hacer hoy una presentación de las generalidades de esta escuela y los programas que manejan. La presentación se va a realizar en inglés y al final de la sesión pueden utilizar por favor el botón de preguntas y respuestas y con mucho gusto responderemos a todas sus preguntas al finalizar de la sesión. Entonces dejo la palabra a Daria. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos and the word is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Hello, everyone. Good morning, I suppose. It's 11 o'clock in Colombia, I suppose.
Yes.
It's 5:13 here. So thank you for the presentation. My name is Daria. I am the event manager here in Rubika, and I'm here with you tonight, to present our school, our programs. I unfortunately do not speak Spanish. I did understand what's been said, but I will be giving my presentation in English. Do not hesitate to write your questions down if you need. We will answer them as we go. So I will share with my screen with you to present our school. So here it is. The name of our school is Rubika. And first of all, we'll start with everything that is not so interesting, the numbers. We have existed for almost 40 years. We've been created in 1987. We have 4 programs. I prefer to say 3, but officially it's 4. It's the animation, the video game program, and the design program. We also have a prep class, which is like a year 0 for everything that is art related, but it's a program apart. We have got a network of graduates that is about 5,000 people strong, because for 40 years we've managed to create quite a network. And we have 3 campuses in the world, which are here in Valenciennes. It is the northern France. If you know even a bit the French geography, we are very close to Lille, which is the center of the northern region. We have another campus at the Isle of the Reunion, La Réunion, and the other one in Montreal. And that's it for the official part. I will now present to you our programs. First of all, I'll start with the most interesting one, in my opinion. It is the animation program. Here you can see either the screenshots or it's basically screenshots of the projects of our students. And here in France, we have 3 different programs in animation. Those are 2D animation, 3D animation, and 3D animation international. For the first 2, they are taught entirely in French, and you need to have at least a B2 level to be able to follow the courses in French. However, the international class is the program that is dedicated to the international students, where everything is taught in English, and first 3 years they take place in Montreal, in our Canadian campus, and the last 2 years here in France. The program is pretty much identical to the French 3D animation program, just everything is in English, with a bit of French accent from our teachers. In Canada, I will go briefly for the other campuses. We have programs which are in English for the mixed. We have a mixed program in 2D and 3D animation for the first 3 years, and the master's degree in the last 2 years specialized in 2D animation and special effects. And at the Reunion Island, we have the 2D and the 3D animation that are taught, like in France, in French. Our big idea is to actually show you every step of the pipeline of the creation of an animated movie, from the script to all the way to the sound design. Once you're a student here at Rubika, you will have classes of everything: storyboard, texturing, compositing, everything, so that at the end you'll be able to create an animated movie yourself. Of course, theoretically, because no one really works alone on the animations, people work in groups, but you will have a diploma, which is a state-recognized diploma of, how should I translate it? Um, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot the word. The director of animated films. So theoretically, you will be able to do everything that is listed here. To give you a small idea of who we are working with, I'm sure you know some of the logos, some of them talk to you better than the others. For those that you might probably not know, there is Animal Logic. They worked on Lego films, for example. They work specifically on the special effects, for example, for The Lord of the Rings, for The Matrix, for Harry Potter, for The Planet of the Apes. And Micros Animation is the French studio that works primarily on the French animation, for example, the iconic French characters like Asterix, Obelix. So yeah, just to give you an idea. And here is a small video. I will be talking over it because the music is not quite pleasant, to show you actually what our students do. Because as I said, we have programs that are project based. So every year you will have projects that will become gradually more and more complex and complicated. And the entire 5th year is dedicated to the creation of an animated film, a short film of 5 to 6 minutes. It is done in groups of 6, 7 people. It depends on the people, on the number of the people in the classes. But you will have the opportunity to write your own story, create your own artistic direction, to show your style, to create what you would like to create. And since you know every part of the pipeline, of course, you will be better in some parts than the others, and you will be able to work on these parts in particular. For example, you create a movie, you are 7, and you in particular, you will be working on character design or environment design or textures or lighting. It depends entirely on what you like and what you are good at. But we give the creative freedom to our students to create. So we have pretty much everything, different styles, very cartoonish, very Disney, very singular, proper to the students, very realistic. We have horror films, comedies, dramas in lots of languages. It can be films without language at all, in English and French. Recently we had one in Portuguese. If you wish to come here and create a film in Spanish, nothing will stop you except probably, I don't know, people to do the voiceover. You know, it will be more complicated to find people to do voiceover in Spanish here, but it is a possibility. And here we go for the animation part. I will, hold on a second, sorry. I will go to the video game part. So for the video game here, you can see the same thing actually. The programs or the projects of our students that are very cartoonish, somewhat fantasy, realistic, and a bit of horror-ish, just to give you an idea, an example of what we do. In France, we have 3 different programs in video games, which are game art. Game artists are people who do everything that is visual in video games. It's somewhat close to the 3D animators in the animation industry, but everything that you see, the characters, the environments, the props, everything is done by the game artists. The game designers, those are the people who come with an idea. They create the concept, the rules, the levels. Those are level designers. Well, they work on more of the skeleton part of the game. And the game programmers, sorry, There is no secret. Those are people who code, who create the code for the games. In Montreal, we have a program which is a tech art. It is a program that combines game design and game programming. And at the reunion, we have game art and game programming and tech design, which is the mix between game design and game programming. All of those programs are taught in French. And again, as for the 2D and 3D animation in France, you need to have at least a B2 level in French to be able to study in RUBIKA. I understand it's a bit tricky because I'm not French myself, so I understand the struggle of learning the language, but it's really important to have a solid base to be able to follow the courses, because we had students, international students who came here to study 2D animation, and they had the B2 level, but for them it was too much. It was too complicated to follow the courses, so they changed the program, and now they are in 3D International, just to give you an example. In video game, do not read that too many words. I'll explain everything. In video games, it's the same as with the animation. We want you to go through the entire process of the creation of a video game, from the ideas, from the pitch, from the artistic direction, all the way to the release, the debug. So from the point of view of either game artist, game designer, or game programmer. And once again, to give you an idea of who we're working with, I know that Ubisoft and EA games, they do not need any introduction. But for example, Riot Games, they are responsible for League of Legends, Quantic Dream, Detroit Become Human, Paradox. They created Hearts of Iron, Stellaris, if I'm not mistaken, CD Projekt Red as well. I suppose you know they created The Witcher, Larian, BioWare, it's Baldur's Gate. So we work with studios that are widely known. And same as with the animation, I will show you a small show reel of the works of our students, because in video games, as in animation, you have projects all the way through your 5 years of study here at RUBIKA, and you start by creating small things, like, for example, in the first year, since you don't know any softwares, you create a board game, like a physical game in a carton, and then you create platformers, dungeon crawlers, mobile games. And the 5th year, like for the animation course, it is entirely dedicated to a creation of a video game. The groups are a bit bigger, because you need several game artists, several game designers, several game programmers to create those games. But once again, nothing stops you from doing whatever you want to do. We had a bit of everything, and we even had a group of students who created a game that required quite specific movements for a character. This group they asked us to invite a person who specialized in motion capture, so that they would be able to recreate the movements of a character. So they don't only exclusively work on their machines, they also can work with such things as motion capture. But it's the same thing as for the animation. The most important thing is to do what you like, to create something that will make sense, that will be your project, your final project of all of your studies. Here we go for the game. And now for the design program. For the design program, generally people think, when we say design, people think interior design, architecture, fashion, anything like this. In our school, when we talk about design, we talk about the industrial design. So the conception, the creation of products or transport that will be actually created and sold afterwards. The design program exists only in France. We do not have this program in Montreal or at the Reunion Island, but this program is taught in a mix of French and English, and if there are students, international students who come in RUBIKA to study design, the courses will be given in English automatically, or they will be adapted so that the person wouldn't be lost. In design, we have different programs as well. Those are product design. It is a program in which you learn to conceptualize products, really any products that can potentially exist. It may be shoes, phones. I'm looking around myself to find anything, tables, really anything. Anything that you can see at any store is a product that was conceptualized, thought, created by a product designer at some point. So you will learn the ways of creating a product. You will learn it through the lens of um, I forgot the word. The ecology, the image of the firm you're working for. Because, for example, if you're creating shoes for Adidas, it will not be the same as for Nike, for example. In transport design, it is exactly the same thing, but you're working on a transportation. We have a tendency to think that it's all about cars. We're not wrong per se, but it can be any means of transportation. It can be cars, it can be boats, planes, spacecrafts, yachts, bikes, really anything that is susceptible to move is considered a transportation. For instance, we had a student who went to work after her graduation in Sweden because there is a company there that is specializing on yachts, and she wanted to work exclusively on the interior of yachts. And it is a possibility because even here in transport design it's a whole universe that you get to pick from to do something that you would like to do. We also have a program in 3D design. It is a bit more particular because the 3D designer, it is a person that intervenes in the process of a creation of a product or a transport after the product designer or transport designers. They make a concept of a product or a transport, and 3D designers, they're here to create a hyper-realistic 3D rendering in image or in video of said product or transport for the ads, for example, for the sales. For instance, if you see an ad of an iPhone that is turning around, look at me, how beautiful I am, please buy me, it is made by a 3D designer. If you see an ad of a Bugatti that is absolutely beautiful, the image is stunning, it is made on computer, it is not filmed, it is the work of 3D designers. And we have another program in UX design, which is available from the year 3. So you need to do 2 years in a similar field before coming into the UX course. But this program, it deals with everything that is interfaces, usability of a product, its usefulness, the brand perception, the customer experience. It's a bit different from the other types of design we do, but it's still very, very important. It's fundamental to know how the product works for the others, not only for yourself, because you can create a phone that is perfect for you. It lies perfectly in your hand. It's absolutely intuitive, and it can be a catastrophe for another person. So it's very important to know how to work with the user. Here are some of the brands that we are working with. I'm sure there are pretty much no brands that need introduction on this slide. As I said, design is a universe that is huge, and you can work in whatever sphere, whatever kind of design you would like. And as well as for animation and for video game, I will be showing you a small show reel of what our students in design do while talking about to you about the program. It is slightly different from the animators and the gamers because whilst gamers and animators they work in their groups on their projects, like in their corners, the designers they are a bit more individualist, if I might say so. So they work a lot on their own projects because, especially in the first few years, you have lots and lots of small projects so that you get the gist, so that you understand how a concept of a product or a transport works. And then during the year 3, our students start to have projects with brands that come here that give them some design programs that they need, design problems that they need to solve. Like, for example, a few years back, Philips came here and they asked our students to imagine a kitchen for a tiny Parisian apartment that would be like 50 centimeters large. Uh, and that's it. And you need to fit everything in. That demands a bit of a mental gymnastics, but it's the way that our students get to train their minds to work on the creation on the innovation. During the 4th year, our students have the how would I translate it? The vision projects that are a bit different. We still have brands that come to us and ask our students to create things, but I'll give you the example right here. On the left, you have the example uh, of a vision project, because the brands come here and they ask our students to imagine something that will be created not now, but 20 years from now, 30, 50 years from now. And this was a work of one of our students. She recreated completely the attire of a firefighter that she imagined would be relevant in 2060. And the 5th year is the year where you have your personal project, because you've tried everything and you found something that you really love, and you will be able to work on this project to do your research to create a concept, not really to create, to create a phone, for example, but to create a concept of it. And it's a lot of work. It sounds simple, but it is a lot of work. And this is pretty much it for the programs. Now, the tiny thing about our school, of course, for the contacts, everyone has an email, a website, a phone number. It is useful, sure. We have something more that we can propose you. We have a network of our students who are currently studying at RUBIKA, with whom you can be put into contact. You can ask to talk to a student in 3D Animation International 4th year, for example, and you will be contacted by a student from this class so that you can talk about the program, the life in school from a student's point of view, because I can talk about it, but I'm not a student and I don't have the same perception. And everything that has to do with the admissions, with the administrative processes, whatever they might be, you have a possibility on our website as well to have a support meeting. It will be a 15 to 20-minute meeting with either me or my colleagues from uh, uh, RUBIKA who would be able to help you directly, because we think it's best to have some human contact, to have someone in front of you to explain you something, to answer your questions. I suppose it's more human than just to say send an email. And this is pretty much it for my presentation for tonight. And I am available to answer any and all questions you might have. I hope my English wasn't too bad for you to understand.
Thanks so
Thank
much, Daria, for your presentation. It was really, really clear and also really interactive. So thank you so much. Para las personas, entonces pueden empezar a redactar sus preguntas con toda tranquilidad. We do have a first question from Olga Benavides, and she asked if the 3D animation program is an official or gives an official master degree, and also if the applications must be through the official website of the school or through campus art, and also if it is taught 100% in English.
So all of our programs are um, state recognized. So the 3D animation program as well, it is a state recognized diploma, is a master's degree. And to come and study in Rubika to pass the entrance exam, you just need uh, to register on our website. I believe that Campus France, Campus Art help with the administrative procedures for the people who go to France. So it is better to uh, put your wish on Campus France as well, because we can validate it from our side so that you can benefit from the help that might be given to you. But to register for the entrance exam, you need to do it on our website directly. Just to add one thing, we have for the international students, the the exam, it is of course in English, and it can be done online. You do not need to come all the way to France just to pass your entrance examination. And yes, in the 3D animation international class, everything is taught in English, 100%.
Okay, great. Thank you. She also asked if the an international animation program is in the Valenciennes campus.
The 3D Innovation International Program is divided between two campuses. The first 3 years are in Montreal, in Montreal, in Canada, and the last 2 years are in Valenciennes.
Ok, thank you. Para las personas que están, Cristian, Diego, Isabela, Lady, Lisa, Olga y Vanessa, nos quedan algunos minutos, así que tomen el tiempo para redactar sus preguntas, que aquí estaremos pendientes. Okay, great. So we have another question from Olga. She asked if the admission, just for the last 2 years of the program, if it is possible to apply to the last 2 years of the international master.
Yes, it is possible. We have parallel admissions. You can either come to the second, third, or fourth year, but it is required for you to have studied beforehand in the similar field. So if you do 3D animation or wherever else you might do it, you can come directly into the fourth year if we have places available. For now, we do, but just keep in mind that we might not have enough places in the future. But it is a possibility to come not in the first year, but afterwards.
Okay, great. I have another question from Lady that asked where, uh, when, when does the program begin?
It begins at the beginning of September, generally the first week of September. I don't know how it is in Colombia, but we follow the schedule, the European schedule from September to June with holidays like everyone, I suppose.
Okay, great. We have another question from Nisa, and she asked if you have programs like master degree programs in product design, and if she can apply to the fourth year. She already have like a bachelor in graphic design.
Okay. So graphic design is a bit different from what we do in product design and transport design. It might be closer to the UX design, the user experience design. It is possible as well. We do have parallel admissions for the design course as well. So it's the same as with the 3D animation. You can just register directly on our website on the in the admission part uh, for the fourth year, for example. It is possible.
Okay, excellent. That is a really common question. That one is from Diego. There is some kind of financiation or a scholarship?
Unfortunately, there is not because we are eligible for the French state issued scholarship, but it is very, very complicated for international students to get this, and none of our students have it, unfortunately. It's complicated, and since we're a private school, we don't really issue scholarships. We cannot do that, unfortunately.
Okay, and Olga, she asked again, um, is it like Valenciennes? It's like an important city in terms of the animation industry?
Really say so. Valenciennes is just it's a historic site for our school because it was created first here 40 years ago in Valenciennes. But France is a huge region for the animation, 2D or 3D. But Valenciennes is I wouldn't say it's the site for the animation. It's not a big city, but I suppose it is a good thing because there are other schools, for example, in Paris, but when you're submerged in the Parisian life, it's way more complicated to study.
Okay, great. Lady, she asked, is there any age limit to apply?
Absolutely not. If you have
Great.
parents who want to come study 3D animation, it's possible. Just saying.
Ok, great. ¿Tienen alguna otra pregunta para los participantes? Todavía tenemos algunos minutos. Si tienen alguna otra pregunta, pueden redactarla. Aprovecho para comentarles que la sesión está siendo grabada para que posteriormente puedan buscarla en nuestro canal de YouTube Campus France Colombia y poder verla las veces que lo consideren necesario para tener toda la información que necesiten. Vamos a esperar un par de minutos si tienen preguntas adicionales. Acá, I have another question from Olga. Is there a contact to ask like specific questions about the animation program?
You can write directly to me if you want to. It is no issue at all. Uh, I can put my email directly into the chat, I believe. Can I? I cannot, I suppose.
Just a second. Host and oh, uh,
Oh, chat. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm not used to
no, it's okay.
uh, you go, you can ask any questions that you want, and if I cannot answer them, I have the head of studies just in the wall, so I can ask them any questions if I can't answer them for some reason.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for your contact area. We have a question from Vanessa Forero, and she asked if is there any program in art direction related with graphic design?
Not directly, I described you every program that we have, but in especially in animation programs, there is a big part that is dedicated to the artistic direction, but it is a part of a program and not a program in itself.
Okay, thank you. ¿Alguna otra pregunta? Bueno, creo que no tenemos más preguntas. Como les decía, pues recuerden que la sesión está siendo grabada para que después la puedan ir a buscar. Muchas gracias a todas las personas que se conectaron a este
I'm so sorry.
espacio.
I'm
Sure,
so sorry to.
please.
I just noticed that the that my email is not written correctly. You reposted it, but it's not written the same. So I'm afraid that uh, the students won't have the right contact.
Okay, sure. Yeah, yeah. If you, just a second. It's just that what you sent it was just to the host and panelists,
Okay. Yes.
and I will send
Sorry.
it to the. No,
Yeah.
it's all right.
Sorry.
I was.
Sorry.
But did I write it? Did I write it wrong?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No worries. It's my last name. It's not easy.
Okay, just I'm gonna fix it. And we have another question from Lady and said, that it's more like a visa related question. She asked if we can work part-time while studying this program. And Lady, if you have like a student visa in France, you are able to work like half time during your studies. And Vanessa asked, how do you evaluate the level of language of a candidate?
So, as for the work, yes, when you have a student visa, you are allowed to work part-time, but honestly, the programs are very dense, and you're a very courageous person if you decide to work at the same time. It can get tricky. It's not easy to do that. There are very little students who do that. There are some. It is theoretically possible, but I would advise against that. And as for the language level, one of the tests that you have when you pass your entrance exam is an interview. So you will need to talk with the head of studies, who's bilingual, who will just talk to you in English to evaluate your level. The same if you do speak some French and you decide to pass an examination for a French program, you will be talked to in French. We do not require any certificates. That's what I mean.
Okay, excellent. So I think we don't have any more questions. Just thank you so much, Daria, for accepting our invitation. Thank you so much for your time. The presentation was really clear, and I think the participants are really motivated to prepare their candidature. So thank you for your time, and you can count on Campus France Colombie to prepare the candidates to apply to your school.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for your attention, and have a very, very nice day.
Thank you. You too. Bye bye.